Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and today we have, as usual, Dylan.
Put your hands in the air.
And wave them like you just do not care.
Or I'll shoot you.
But today we have a special guest. We have our buddy Chase on.
The omnipresent being.
Hello,
From several different dimensions.
Yeah. It is, as we've talked about in, I think, the podcast, it is in universe that no matter what timeline, or what story or location, Chase is always just Chase. It's just the way it is. So
Ever present.
As it should be.
Right. So no matter what game we're playing, no matter what role-playing world or...
Chase will be just off camera.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like he's... Like, he can be different versions of himself, but it's always just Chase. Like...
No different aliases or names.
Right. No need to. I mean, you can't go wrong. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know?
Right.
It's perfect.
He's lasted this long.
I thought we were just talking about Chase as if he's not here.
Eons.
Don't worry, I can
Chase,
hear
how
you
does
in the
it
other
feel to
dimension.
be an immortal?
Nice. So what you been up to, Chase? How you been?
Work mostly.
Yeah, I think that's most of us.
Yeah.
Just trying to make ends meet at this point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this week we watched a movie called Jin-Roh, The Wolf Brigade.
Mm-hmm.
What a cool sounding
Yeah.
movie. And I realized that you had shown me like the first probably like 10 minutes of this movie.
Right.
I thought that I had seen like a different portion of it, but we started up the movie and I was like, oh, this is very familiar. Oh, I've seen this before.
Just to whet your appetite a bit.
Of course. And man,
It's good.
Ironically, I think how I originally found it, I think I found it and showed it to you, didn't I, Dylan?
Yes.
Okay, so how I originally found it was, I believe, through a music video,
oh, really?
and it's like the very first few scenes of the movie,
Right.
snipped together, and I was like, oh, what's this? So,
I'm
looked
curious.
neat, especially with their outfits and everything.
Right.
So I was like, we gotta watch it. I think I watched it, I either watched it first with you, Dylan, is that what I did?
Yeah, we had watched this
A few years ago. 2018 maybe.
I want to say that sounds about right.
Well, it looks like it came out in 2001,
It's a long time ago.
which is crazy.
Oh, man.
But I will say, like, the animation and art style of it is unique and different, but it translates well. It doesn't seem dated or, anything like that.
Do you know if Satoshi Kon had anything to do with this one?
Can you remind me who that one is?
He was the same dude that is behind Perfect Blue, Paprika. It's just got that same art style.
I'd have to look into it. Or, well, you got a computer right in front of you, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. You're talking like, is it? Oh, it looks like it's 1999, actually.
Oh, yeah?
That's when the Wolf Brigade came out?
Yeah. I'm seeing the IMDb, but I'm not sure if it shows the
right.
artist of that, though. Writers, directors. Yeah, I can't see anything right now. But anyways,
It was either him or, I want to say, Mamoru Oshii.
yeah.
Yeah. He's the one that did the first Ghost in the Shell movie.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that this, right off the top, when you get to see like the difference between like the regular like riot police officers and this like special task force of guys just like running up in their power armor looking,
walking up.
dude, yeah, literally just cruising,
Strolling.
Right. They have this demeanor that's like,
Menacing.
yeah, I wrote down in my notes like the helmets and the whole garb and all that kind of stuff just gives it this like faceless warrior type thing where it's like knights in a suit of armor or like stormtroopers or something where it's like this kind of like we're all uniform and we're all like, there's a mission and it just kind of gives this like this kind of
laser focused,
this cold and mechanical like just demeanor about all of it, which I think is really cool.
Ironically, that outfit is actually what made me watch the show as well.
Oh,
It's
I
so
mean,
cool.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
If ever there was a suit of armor I wanted to make for myself, besides
Yeah.
a variant of Mjolnir from Halo,
Hell yeah.
it would definitely be the sweet get-ups that they have in this film.
Yeah. Especially like that just standing shot of him like on the rocks,
Right.
looking with those red eyes and just like standing there with that gun. Just that
Yeah.
pose is like so intimidating. You're like, man, look at that.
Right.
It's so cool.
I remember whenever I first watched it, I was gonna think it was going to be an entirely different movie than what it actually came
Right.
out to be.
It's
dark.
it's one of the most feel-good, depressing movies I know.
Oh,
It's-
yes. It is glum and sad.
It's a perfect movie for a rainy day.
Right. It is also very, very dark.
Perfect for the whole family.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Come
If your
on,
kids. Are
kids.
as gloomy as you
Come on
need to show
around.
them this movie.
Timmy, Billy.
Then
And
again,
if they're not beforehand,
Susie?
they will be afterwards.
Right.
I think somebody that was a kid might see like the 1 or 2 parts in there, think, "Oh, that's really cool," and then probably be bored with the rest of the movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of exposition between characters, but man, does it pay off at the end though.
Oh yeah.
One thing also I was going to say was there's like because of the animation and the art style, it's so I don't want to say different because it does feel very familiar in some
Right.
avenues as well, but it just is not like any other ones
Right. It's
that I've seen. It is very
not what you expect when you hear, let's watch this cool anime movie.
right. Like I said, not only is it dark and kind of has this different vibe about it,
Right. These aren't
But-
the bug-eyed freaks you're used to.
but it's also like the facial animations and like there's certain like gestures that translate very well. That's like it makes it more detailed than you think it would be,
Right.
which I think is kind of off-putting sort of, but it also is not like it doesn't take you out of the experience though.
Yeah,
I
they
think it's-
definitely went for realism more
Yeah.
so in this.
Yeah, especially some like the scenes where it's like up close. The scenes in particular were like the girl's scared and you can feel it
Yeah.
on her face and you're like, this is crazy. Like the fact that you can see the emotion there.
Right.
Yeah. At first, also, I was like watching the movie and trying to decide on like which side to pick
Oh yeah.
because it's like I didn't quite know if like you're gonna be like a man of the people or like you want to be on like the side of this like brutal task force kind of thing.
Right.
I'd
So I was
have
like-
to go with the brutal task force
Oh,
all the way.
you're
Just,
right,
Just
but-
because of that gear.
Oh, of course, but at the same time, like I didn't want my I didn't want my morality of the show to be based off of like the cool
Right.
armor. I didn't want it to be like I'm gonna root for the bad guys, and then of course you get right down to it, and you're like, oh man, these guys are like actually really bad,
Right.
and I don't know if I want to support these guys.
On one hand, you have radical citizens rioting
Right.
in the streets,
Right.
which should be a little hint as to how bad people have it in this city.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you have this really fucking cool looking
I
task
know.
force that's just mopping them up like they're nothing.
Right.
Hey guys, so we got 2 sides. We got radical civilians throwing Molotovs at cops, or cool task force that you
Yeah.
could join.
Come on,
Right?
we got
mowing people down like they're nothing.
hear me out. We got big guns.
Yeah. Got some
Right.
cool armor too.
Yeah, dude, it was just like I said, right off the bat, because again, it's still like, I'm not saying you have to pick a side, but there's definitely a part where like you're watching a movie and you're like, okay, who's the good guy and bad guy in this? Not even if like the lines are blurred, there's a gray area. You're still trying to figure out like, who am I trying to root for here? And then right off the bat, when you see that scene with the kid, you have this guy who's like, obviously he's just one of what feels like 6 or 7 of like these special task force, red-eyed, all black armor, dangerous weapon, just standing there, and he's like, why? to this girl who's holding a bomb, no less, and is like in the process of trying to detonate it, and he's like, don't do it.
What the fuck are you doing?
Needless to say, she does it anyways. He ends up surviving, but has this moment of like, just this like morality like coming in of like, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out as the movie progresses on, some stuff comes out about it. But like, that was authentic though, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. The best part I think is that he doesn't realize that why he hesitated or why he didn't shoot her.
Right.
Because he says he meant to. He just doesn't know why he didn't.
Yeah. And it was just that little sliver of humanity inside of him.
Right.
But man, did they put him on the field and told him to run laps though?
Oh yeah.
His failure, quote unquote, even though he decided not to shoot basically a high school person,
right?
High school girl for holding a bomb and basically being a terrorist. So
he should have just said my gun jammed.
Yeah. Right.
I ran out of bullets.
Or just, I think you probably would have got more respect if you just stood amongst the council and was like, it was weakness.
I was weak.
It was weakness, and I've learned since to snuff it out.
I couldn't kill a little girl,
but I can
I'm a
now.
fucking disgrace.
Yeah. I have since learned the error of my ways, and I will spank any freaking child ass.
Oh my God.
Ever since then, like, the council would have been like, case closed, you got it. He's good.
Carry on. Go and murder.
Okay.
There's this, as he goes, and I'm assuming again it kind of plays into that like little minor morality thing he's going through. He's kind of going through this emotional roller coaster. He goes
little kink in his programming.
So right after that happens, obviously like the higher ups are talking about him, like as if he's possibly like a traitor. Is that kind of what's going on?
Not necessarily a traitor, but more so.
Why did he sympathize?
Right. They were worried about how public opinion would affect their standing.
I see.
So they were planning to punish him or use him as a lamb to sacrifice, basically.
I got it.
Just to cover their asses.
I see. Well, needless to say, he goes to this like gravesite of the girl he didn't kill, but she ended up blowing herself up. Like I said, dark movie.
Right.
But then there's this other girl there, and she looks very similar, and she's playing the part, quote unquote, of like her older sister.
Mm-hmm.
They end up like having this budding friendship that turns into like a small romance kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like there's a part where they're like at this carnival, and like my first interpretation of it is like he still is having like this kind of like what feels like this internal struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's also having this struggle of like, I don't want to be where I'm at anymore. Right. And I thought at that point in time in the movie, he felt the same way, where he's like, I don't want to be here anymore kind of thing. Because again, he's also like this stoic, strong, silent type, where he doesn't
emotionless.
Yes, which again plays into obviously like his, but I think it's just because the girl was talking so much and he was kind of agreeing on like some minor degree.
Yeah, just
so I
sort
guess,
of absorbing
the
information.
But I think I imposed, just like she did, I imposed her thoughts onto him, I think is what I was saying, is where like I thought that he was kind of feeling the same way. And I was like, oh, this is two sides of the same coin. You have this girl who's a rebel who's like tired of being here and wants to get out. And you have this guy who has a moral compass who's in this like, emotionless strike force who's like, I can't do this anymore. I have a heart and I care for people.
Right.
And then as they're right, boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, psych.
Psych, dude.
I think he was kind of going wherever the wind was taking him with it to get the upper hand.
Right. And I think it's also like I said, I don't think he was thinking that. I just think it was, he wasn't, she was saying all this stuff and he wasn't outright denying any of it. And what little bit he was talking was to ask her questions about certain things or whatever. Looking back on it now, it's like, oh, I see. I was just, I think, being optimistic like she was, I guess, or something. Needless to say. But anyways, so as their like relationship kind of blossoms into something, you can tell he's actually kind of catching feelings for her. Mm-hmm. But then inevitably, they go down into the sewer where the whole actions happened in the first part of the movie.
They had to escape from a police ambush at a museum.
Right.
Using her as bait.
Yeah. And they inevitably get down there, and lo and behold, there's like people coming out the woodworks, and I was like, oh no, what is going on? And they're all part of this like splinter group of this strike force called the Wolf Brigade, and they're like a counterintelligence group or something like that. And I was like, oh man, now we're getting to the real weeds here. We're
Oh,
getting
yeah.
deep. And of course, our boy, what's his name?
Fusei.
Our boy's just standing there, and like, I guess it's like his superior officer or whatever is
Right.
like standing there basically and was like,
It's
You've
just
been-
a meeting place that he knew to go to.
right. And not only that, it's like, you've also been tracked by the police department.
Right.
They're trying to take down this strike force or whatever. And then we're like, the counterintelligence going to try and take them out.
Right.
And I think they
nobody
were-
told him anything either.
Right.
I think actually he called them to come there because if you see him in the payphone for that split second,
Right. And he's
he
like,
comes
"We
out
gotta
of a
go somewhere."
payphone and she's like sitting on the side.
Oh.
So
okay.
I think he
must have missed
probably
that.
called them there.
Probably.
Yeah, was like, this is what we got to do.
Right.
But needless to
Bring
say,
me my shit.
so
Basically.
the police force is trying to take out this strike force because they're, what was the reasoning again?
They came to an agreement that they would.
I think it was just that they didn't think they had a use for him anymore.
I see.
They were. That was part of it. But they said something about getting into the cabinet and changing the system from the inside.
I see.
But the catch was that they had to get rid of the strike force.
Oh, okay. Regardless, there's like internal struggles between these two differing sets of like law and order, peacekeeping of sorts.
Right.
Needless to say, the police force thought that, like, again, they had the girl tracked, so the girl's standing there, and for me, I was in the same position as she was. So, like, she's with her buddy, Fusei, and all these people come out the woodworks. Fusei's, like, superior officer comes, like, walking down and is like, you're being tracked, you were hired on by the police, like, this is what's going on. Like, obviously, you're kind of like, or they're trying to get rid of this guy. They're trying to use him as a scapegoat to end up, like, taking us out, thinking he's like the weakest link. So they tracked you down here. They're coming any minute now to come trying to snuff you guys out, thinking you're the only two here.
Little do they know.
Right. They and all those like buddies coming out the woodworks start like suiting Fusei up, giving him his whole
The
garb.
entire loadout.
Dude, that dude like loads up that gun and then just points it directly at her. And I was like, damn, is he gonna kill her right now?
It sure seemed like it at first.
The CO guy, he was the guy that told the other two guys about the Splinter Cell group, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure about that.
Yeah, I think he said something about how like we're called the Wolf Brigade. We're like a counterintelligence group.
I feel like he said that to get them to probably acknowledge the existence of it and
Right.
probably try to do something.
Or at the very
Right.
least suspect it.
Yeah.
Dude, I at that moment in time when he was like getting suited up, and I was like, "Yo, has this all been a lie?" And then, of course, just as you'd imagine, she has caught feelings for him now, and he
Right.
just gets suited up. I think she asked, I don't know what she asked him. She asked him a question, I thought, and he doesn't answer.
Yeah,
And-
like what else could I do? What choice did I have?
Yeah, or something like that. And she asks him a question, and he just puts his mask on, suits it up, and just like, it's done. You're like,
Yeah.
wow. And can I just say the symbolism in this movie?
Oh yeah,
the
it's
part
everywhere.
where he has that dream,
I was about to get into that too.
dude. Go ahead.
So I was saying, you know where the wolves come and kind of,
Right.
rip her to shreds and
Right.
all that?
Right.
I'm going to say that was probably his buddies coming.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
And
definitely.
probably towards the end, that was them ripping him up.
You could almost call it a premonition.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But it's also like there was like a point where I think he's in the snow or something, or like in like a storm, and it's like there's just so much in that dream that like it felt like a dream because it was like it didn't quite make sense, but it doesn't have to because it's dream logic.
I
Right.
think the snow was supposed to be cold-hearted or
yeah,
something.
yeah, something like that. It was like so much because it's also they're the Wolf Brigade, quote unquote, a main milestone that they keep coming back to is like I think it's the original Brothers Grimm telling of
Little Red Riding
Little
Hood.
Red Riding Hood, which is so interesting because of the fact that the Red Riding Hoods are what they consider like the young women and children.
Right, the little couriers.
Yeah, that they. Whoa, interesting. The young
Somebody's
women,
just going hard at 2:08 a.m.
the young women and children that like deliver bombs and other such nonsense to the other like guerrilla groups or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how it all kind of plays into it. The Wolf Brigade, the Red Riding Hoods, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But they constantly come back to that, and so it's also like symbolism in that regard too. That's like, man, this is so interesting and scary.
Did they redo the story any bit for this movie, or does it basically just follow the Brothers Grimm version?
I don't know the Brothers Grimm version verbatim. I just know that those versions are kind of the original fairy tales,
I think it'd be safe to assume that they're the same.
And they're usually, they don't pull any punches. They're like, they're aggressive.
I remember the
Cinderella or some of those that are like, oof. They're like just as you'd imagine. You're eating your mom's flesh. And it's like, then just tell that cat to shoo away.
A shoe with the cat.
You're drinking your mom's blood. Then just throw your cloak at that bird. Tell her to get out of here.
I don't know how you would be drinking blood thinking it was wine with that metallic taste.
Again, it doesn't have to make any sense, I don't think.
But the quote that the guy was saying, the CEO was saying towards the ending, which was, I think in this version, the wolves kill the hunters.
Right.
I'm curious if that actually happens in the other version.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting though. But dude, it hurts. There's like certain aspects of this. It's like, man, once that scene down in the sewers happened, where he's all getting suited up and like you can just tell he's like changing as a person. It's like, for me it made me question everything. I was like, so has he just been just a heartless machine this whole time, or like has it just been like a, has it all been a ploy from the very beginning, ever since the girl blew up the bomb? Was he just pretending to have a heart for some,
Oh no, he was still assuming that the girl was going to be alive by the end of this, and that they were going to keep her alive.
Yeah, I think that's why he was able to turn into like a, well, quote unquote wolf. In that last part.
Yeah.
Was because I figured, they'll keep her alive for me and it'll be happily ever after.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, he ends up taking out the whole police team that's going down there to ambush him.
Right. Their
His
cover
best
isn't
friend.
blown and they are safe.
Man, and can I just say the sound design for this?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Wow. That big gun that they use is terrifying.
I love it.
So, like, I think you said, what did you say a second ago?
I said, you said they took out the entire police team.
Yeah.
And I said, including his best friend.
Right.
Oh,
So,
quote unquote.
Gotta wonder how good of friends they were then.
Right.
Because, I don't know.
Dude.
The guy didn't really seem that remorseful about it.
Nah.
Trying to use him as a scapegoat.
But what kind of weapon did you say it was again? I think you were talking about.
I believe the gun they use in that is I don't remember the actual name for it, but it was the gun they used in World War II Normandy.
Wow.
On the beaches.
Yeah.
I know the nickname was called a chainsaw, I believe.
Big
I
old
would say
heavy
it
machine
sounds
gun.
like it.
I think it was like an MG-42.
Wow. It was a big gun.
Wonderful piece of work.
Terrifying machine. But yeah. So it, and then of course, in true fashion for this movie, being kind of sad and glum, they get down to the end.
Yeah, I think I found it.
Yeah.
Does this look like it's?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Love that thing.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, so it's definitely a German weapon, MG-42.
That's crazy. But yeah, we get down to the end, and basically the CEO we keep talking about stands there and is like, this was the way it's going to be the whole time. Like, you got to get rid of her.
Yeah.
You got to kill her off. And it's like, I forgot. I didn't quite catch what he said initially. He's like, this is how it was supposed to be. It's like either she dies here or either we brought her with us or she died back in the tunnel or something like that. Like, either way, she's going to have to die in this situation.
I think he basically just said her living is basically her dying for our cause, kind of roundabout.
Okay. Right. Whether she's alive or dead doesn't really matter as long as
they
can't prove that they
Though he said it was just going to buy him time.
Right.
So I was kind of like, well, you guys could just keep her at base, really, right?
Yeah.
But then
apparently not.
But then to really tug on the heartstrings. So in the movie, they kind of go back and forth between like, I guess I should rewind a little bit back. Again, her sister, her fake sister, quote unquote, she was going to give her the Red Riding Hood story, the original Brothers Grimm, like, and put it at her, like her, what you call it, like columbarium thing or whatever, like her
grave locker.
Yeah, exactly. But then she decided to give it to our main guy. And so they kind of keep going back and forth between like reciting bits of the story to each other and also again referencing real life, I guess, in because of that. And then right at the end, to really pull on the heartstrings and make this whole movie real sad, is that she recites the last lines like, "My, what big ears you have, my, what big eyes you have," all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, right as she says, you know, "My, what big teeth you have," he like pulls the trigger and kills her. And it's like, damn, dude.
And then, of course, they cut to the other guy that was going to shoot her if he couldn't.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Mm-hmm.
The end. Boy, what a sad story. But
yeah,
it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot slower paced than I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But from the music video I saw of it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because there's just a lot of, it's like the very first scenes where, you know, there's just a ton of action going on.
Right.
And then it's kind of just slower paced throughout the movie. And then the last scene's just a lot of action, then back down again.
Yeah.
I think I liked the training sequence the most.
Yeah, I mean, if they could make another movie where they showed a little more action with those guys, that'd be kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was only like really one big scene that like the whole team's out there doing stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of sad with that a little bit.
I love the fact he was using like the rubber bullets though.
Oh, yeah.
To really make him feel the pain of it.
cool.
I was like, damn, that sucks.
Just laid into those two fuckers that fell down the stairs.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Hey,
That's what I thought was funny.
We're going to surrender. All right, I'm going to shoot you anyways.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Make you feel the pain of your failure. Freaking loser.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could just tell that was what it
Do
was.
better, you fucking clown.
I love the scene where he, like, breaches through the wall, though.
Right.
I fucking love that part.
I mean, he freaking blew through that wall.
And he would have definitely shot him for it not being
Right.
his flashback sequence.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that first sequence where they're all like running around, do you guys have another favorite sequence?
Probably the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah. The incident in the sewers.
Yeah. I definitely thought like it really hit home how powerful these guys were at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with
This
all the
guy
bullets
is
ricocheting off him.
literally
Like, you've seen what a whole team can do
right.
against a few goons.
But I mean, there's this one guy, and he, it's like you said before, he's not even running. He's not scared.
Mm-hmm.
He's walking.
It's like Jason.
A casual saunter,
Yeah.
and then it's just freaking. These guys are screaming and hooping and hollering and
It
firing off
basically
guns.
turns into a slasher flick.
Right. You're sitting here giving it all you got, just spraying lead from your little pea shooter mini or little SMGs.
All for naught.
And all of a
A
sudden,
waste of space you are, Paris.
that's all you hear, and you're just dead. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, dude.
And he ripped through his friend with that last round.
Yeah.
Yikes, man.
Just unloaded an entire belt into him.
It's also like you can tell like the buddy you're talking about. He's like sitting there and he kind of comes to grips with like, I ain't got nowhere else to go right now.
Yeah, I think once he fell down that
Like water, like the
water slide
yeah,
sewer system thing,
drainage slide or
I
whatever.
think as he's just laying down the water's just
Yeah, this is it
I
for
think
me.
I think I'm about to be done.
Great.
Especially because he's at a dead end. So it's like he's at a dead end. He's like he got one bullet in his leg, his like thigh. So he's like having a hard time getting mobile. And he's like,
They came down there
I
with
got
like 10 men. None came back up.
I got a pistol. And that's all I got.
Right.
But like to just hammer on how cold it is. This guy's the friend is sitting there like on his knees, like just I guess asking questions or talking or again in disbelief, like I am. Like, was it all a joke? Like what? Did you not shoot on purpose? Like I can't understand this. And while he's doing all this, he's not again in true. What's the name again? Fusei. In true Fusei fashion, he's not responding at all.
Yeah.
He's just taking it all in. But not only that, he's like in the process of like taking off his belt of bullets and like just like
reloading his
taking
weapon.
it. Yeah, it's like ching, whoosh, like getting
save this one just for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, man, he's putting a fresh belt of rounds into his gun while you're just like frantically asking him why. It's like he doesn't care.
You're wasting your breath, pal. I know why I'm here.
Right.
I'd say that'd be my other favorite scene where the camera's facing his friend and you just see Fusei in the background just reloading the gun.
Yeah,
not,
just like
not caring at all.
No, not at all. I was like, man, it is brutal, dude.
Man, these are some really shitty last words.
And as I said, the other scene that just gets me every time is that guy shoots the
grenade launcher.
And just it flies past his head and hits behind him.
It's one of those like last ditch efforts where like he has this like kind of grenade launcher looking weapon, and he just like runs around the corner and is like, take this, and like it's all supposed to be very, I could tell in the moment it's supposed to be like impactful. It's like he's hoping it's going to do something, but in his like flurry of like rage and and passion, as he's just like, take this, you crazy guy, and like shoots off a grenade round. It whizzes past his head, blows up in the background, smoke everywhere.
Then you just see those eyes.
He takes one little sigh for a second and just breathes and looks around, and all of a sudden you see
to himself for a moment.
Those two red glows coming closer to you.
Two red circles walking through the fog,
piercing
and it's like
through the mist.
You're a dead man.
I like how he didn't do anything until the guy started running away.
Right.
Which made me wonder, what would he have done if the guy just sat there?
He probably would have still killed him, but
he probably would have.
I don't know. It's just like I said, and it doesn't pull any punches with like.
But them comparing themselves to wolves just probably being, brutal.
Right.
You're probably right. They probably wouldn't have left any survivors.
Yeah.
It was just like the movie itself doesn't pull any punches, like people getting shot.
Right.
Like it really shows like this guy is
they
getting...
really hold on those
shots
of shots.
Yeah. Mallory was in the process of like kind of in and out of sleep while one of those scenes were happening where a guy's just getting freaking laid into, and she's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I was like, "Don't worry, avert your eyes." Yeah. It's like, trust me. Oh man. Did you guys have any other favorite characters? Anyone in particular?
I think I like the head honcho CO
right
for the Wolf Brigade.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
My favorite character was that kid that lost his balloon.
Right.
What a fucking chump.
He had such a big part in the whole movie.
Again, another situation with Mallory.
He was the most impactful.
Yeah, exactly. He trips and falls.
Very underrated character.
He trips and falls, and Mallory got a kick out of that for a second. Like, I thought he was going to lose his balloon. And then, lo and behold, he stands up and lets go of his balloon. It flies away, and she starts busting out laughing. And I was like, "Why are you? What are you laughing at? This kid's sadness."
So little did you know that was a thing English teachers love to do with describe what the meaning of this is.
Oh, I see.
The meaning is he's going to be the next Fusei.
I see.
Oh goodness!
Just a matter of
it's all parallels.
Right.
18 years or so.
Right. That's crazy. Man, I liked the girlfriend character.
Yeah.
Even though like it came out later that she was kind of working on the other side.
Yeah, two-timer.
I don't think she really knew a whole bunch of that, like as far as like what was all going on.
Right.
And then to really see the authenticity in her face when like things started going sideways, I was like, dude, I think it's because I was just because our main character didn't talk a whole lot. I don't think I really realized until that moment that like I don't really know what this guy's thinking. Yeah. I don't know what this guy wants. What is his motive?
What's best for the Wolf Brigade?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Who am I to shoot? That's about it.
How do I get my mojo back?
Right. Well,
it's a good watch.
Yep. You guys have anything else you'll talk about? Any fun games you playing, Chase?
Oh goodness.
Let's see. I started
Tell them
up
of your
near
escapades.
Replicant.
Oh yeah.
Still, I haven't played it in a few weeks because I've been busy.
Right.
So, still trying to finish that.
So I didn't know the entire like Nier franchise or like what it was or how long it's been a thing.
Yeah. It's been since it's like I think PS2 with Drakengard series.
Yeah. See, I have no idea. So the only thing I ever knew about it was Nier Automata.
Right.
That's all I knew. And of course, like come to find out, Replicant came out, and I was like, oh, so there's like a new one, like a sequel, and he's like, no, this is like the first one. And I was like, wait, it's like it's a remake of the first one. I was like, wait, there was a second one, like so Automata wasn't like the first one.
So I know Automata is like a branch off
right
ending from the other game, but it's like one of those things where you don't have to play the previous game to enjoy it.
I see.
Right.
Like,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What amazed me recently is that me and Chase went to GameWare,
Yeah.
and they had a physical copy of Drakengard for the PS2.
Is that the first one?
Yes,
Interesting.
for like $130.
Oh, that's right.
130?
That's the one you said you wouldn't buy.
Though I really want to.
I know, but that's a lot of
And
money.
what
The
is
other
it-
one I
what-
want to buy is the copy of Silent Hill 3 that they had there.
Yes.
I need to
What-
get 2 first, though.
What system is Drakengard on?
PlayStation 2.
Really? And $130? Is it hard to find?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And is Replicant a remake of that game? Or is Replicant...
Replicant is a remake of the original Nier. Like, just Nier by itself.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Mhm.
And what system did that come out on?
That came out...
PS3, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's still not too old, I guess.
Yeah, I think like the first couple of Drakengard's games came out on like PS2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thing is, I know PS2 has like a lot of good games.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing I noticed about those games is they'll keep you busy.
Oh,
Mhm.
right,
so
right.
I was imagining, for instance, being back in like 2008, game like that comes out, you're probably going to put a bunch of hours into it.
Right,
So
right.
Definitely.
definitely gonna get your money's worth.
Oh, yeah. And that was what I realized that whenever you started a playthrough of the remake of Mass Effect.
Yes.
I remember, like,
Oh, boy.
dude, I forgot what a BioWare RPG was until you started that game up, and you just started talking to people,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just like a, hey, how's it going? And they kept walking away. It was like a, hey,
That's an in-depth
you want to come and
conversation.
talk to me for a second about this thing I need to do? And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, sure,
I'm
no
a
problem.
totally unimportant
Right.
gas station
Yeah,
attendant.
exactly.
Can I touch your hand?
There's only gonna be a few people who understand that reference.
Right. Well, but it's like, and then of course you have like your main mission, but of course every new person you talk to, they're like, go down to this place and talk to this guy for me, and you're like, yeah, sure. And I was like,
Why
okay,
not?
wait. And then I realized it's been a long time since I like really played an RPG or any kind of game for that matter,
Yeah.
where there's just like a bunch of busy work quests
Right.
that keep you going. And I was like, oh wow, this is one of those games where like
fuck.
I'm gonna just dump a bunch of hours into it. I bought the Witcher series, and I have been
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've been so
yeah.
nervous to start 3 because I was like, man, I'm gonna accidentally dump 3 years of my life in this game and
Right.
not even finish it.
Yeah.
So I don't even doubt
Games
that.
like that are scary.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
it's
good
fun,
thing
though.
about like the Persona games. You can dump a lot of hours into it.
Yes.
Right.
That's the thing I was thinking about that one day with the PS2. Persona 3 came out on the PS2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, dump a whole bunch of hours on there.
Right.
Because I remember...
And get 15% of the way through the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I remember back whenever I had a PS2, whenever I was a kid, one of those games would have probably kept me going for a while.
Right. While we're on the topic of like games and stuff too, I've been like going down like a little minor nostalgic hole
Mm-hmm.
where I've been like looking at old Sonic games, like Sonic
Oh,
Heroes, for
boy.
instance. I used to love Sonic Heroes
Yeah.
on the PS2. Not only that, but like I was also looking at the old Spyro games. I bought the Reignited trilogy and I started up that game again and just like playing through it again. And I was like, man, the first game I ever played
Mm-hmm.
was on the PlayStation 1, and it was the original Spyro the Dragon. So that has a very special place in my
Pretty
heart.
good start.
Right.
Ironically, I think the first game I ever played was on the PS2, and I think it was like Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah.
Whenever I was in like kindergarten.
Nice.
Talk
And
about a good start.
yeah, that was pretty funny.
The first console I ever owned was a PS2. So I have very fond PlayStation
Same.
2 and 3 memories. But my cousin had a PS1, and she had all kinds of games, so I played.
You ever seen the meme about the PS2?
What's that?
It's a guy going, man, the PS2 is awesome. It's got like 100 games though. It's
Yeah.
got tons more.
Right.
This is the
Um,
PlayStation 2. More like the PlayStation 2 fucking Extreme.
What?
Yeah, and then he goes over and it's like, oh, whenever you start it up,
It scares you.
Yeah.
oh, man.
Ah!
Now I just want to play the sound effect.
It's
Oh,
oh,
man,
man,
it's so good.
I fucking love that
Hey,
video.
you want to talk about there, and I know everyone has this about certain things, but for me especially, because again, it was that point in time in my life. You want to talk about throwing me back in time?
Mhm.
Instant nostalgia is the PS2 startup sound.
Oh yes.
Yes.
The whole like
Love that.
man, it's so cool. All the little doom sounds
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
in the menu. It's so
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, it's a lot different now.
I was lucky enough to start out with, it was a Super Nintendo first. Yes!
Wow.
Oof.
It's almost relaxing, too. What was that?
That's like the little circles.
Interesting.
They're all flying around.
Oh,
everywhere.
right. Sorry, you get started on what?
I was, grew up with a Super Nintendo
Yeah.
And 5 sisters.
3 and an N64.
What happened to the other 2, Dylan?
Nothing, Chase. And then we just had a lot of fucking game systems
Mm-hmm.
while I was growing up. We had a original Xbox after the first 2. Then we got a GameCube. Then we got the PS3. Then the Wii.
Wow, you got all of them.
Before those first 2, I forgot about the Xbox 360.
Yeah. I'll never forget the story with ours. I remember coming back from... So the cousin I was talking about lived in Oklahoma. So I remember we went there in, I want to say 2000. And I just vaguely remember having so much fun with that. And then I think we came back and I was like, I want to get a PlayStation. Like, I want to get a PlayStation so bad. I think it'd be so much fun. Like, I want to get a game system. And my mom and dad were like, no, we're not going to get game systems. It's just not going to happen. I was like, oh, no, that sucks. I kept asking, though. And then in, like, the December of 2001, the, like, release date of the PlayStation 2, I got that original fat, like...
The cinder block.
The cinder block on release, like, PlayStation 2. And then, dude, I was
nice.
like, I don't know. I mean, I've had other Christmases that mean more, but I just remember that one fondly where I was like opening it up and I was like, no way. The PlayStation
You fucking
2.
lied to me.
Exactly. I was like, hell yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember anything about 2001.
Yeah, I want to say I was
I remember
7.
playing a shit
I
ton
was,
of Halo.
let's see, I think 4.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so
I start remembering things around,
like 5, 6.
I start remembering things when, I think around 5 or 6. I was like 98,
That's
99.
whenever I believe your memories start kind of becoming relevant.
Ethan was born in 98, and I don't think I have, like, fond memories of that. But I think I start to remember things. No, I mean, like, no, I have, like, fond stories of it, but I don't think I have memories of it.
Just of the year in general.
Yeah. But I think once we start, like, I think
it was a good year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
I was born.
Right. Ethan was born. I remember going on that vacation in 2000. So it's like in that time frame of like anywhere between 5 to 7 is like I was starting to develop memories. But that's the thing, man. I was like, I want to say in 01 I was like 7 or 8 or whatever, and that was like prime age for me.
Oh yeah.
Got that. I will never forget that. I don't think I got that PlayStation 2, and I was like, yo, I'm so freaking cool.
I remember.
I even remember the original roster. We had like 5 or 8 games or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember them all right now, but I remember most of them though.
Nice.
Oh, I almost forgot. There was a story I was going to mention.
Right.
So me and Dylan were in a GameWare one day, and it's like this kid and his mom come in the store, and the kid's like maybe, I want to say 6, 7 years old, 8 tops. And he looks at some of the other games, and I just hear his mom say, no, you can't get those. You can only get these games. And she just showed him like where the PS2 games were.
Good.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, wow, that's
how you do it.
That's funny because there's still
do not subject your children to the fucking garbage they release nowadays.
I think why games got so much poorer quality was because back then, once you released the game, it was just out.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't,
that's it.
you couldn't fix anything.
No day one patches.
Right.
To cover your ass.
Oh my god, dude.
So that's probably why they've got.
Now, of course, I realize it's only gotten harder to make games.
Right.
Yeah.
But
while we're on this subject, I have been watching some videos about this, and I have also realized I was like I said, I never really was a huge fan of Mario stuff. I grew up with like Sonic stuff.
Right.
So for my mascot of a system kind of is like been Sonic for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, their burgers are all right.
I have exactly. I have a very fond place in my heart for that character, but like ever since 06, things have been different because of that release. But if I can say this, I was like, I just want to go ahead and say like I just want to stop this like hate for Sonic 06. Yes, it was a glitchy game. Yes, it was like not the perfect game, but I think it's the idea of it though. It's the idea of taking chances. It's like the idea.
Well, they took a chance.
Well,
All right.
You're right. You're right. What are you referring to?
The game.
Right. You're right. But it's like it's the fact that like you don't have patches. You can go back and fix things. Like you don't have like kind of stuff. That was like I think it was 15 years or something like that.
Damn.
It was a big release, and they took a chance on something, and they were really pushing for something. And like, yes, it did not pan out the way they wanted it to, but like,
Right.
I don't think it is like an awful game. I do think that like there is like its shortcomings. It doesn't function correctly like it should. I do think if they had flushed out things and had like a proper like play test beforehand or whatever, it would be a great game.
Yeah.
But dude, like I don't know. It's one of those things where like the problem is ever since then, I think the Sonic franchise has had this stigma of like, we can't do that because 06 had that. We can't do this because 06 had that. Right. So it's been very safe and poor and lackluster in my personal opinion because of it.
It's been carrying a very consistent sense of not
looming.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not good in the same vein.
Right.
It's like 06 was not good because it took chances and pushed itself too far, and I don't think it was ready. Mm-hmm. Like as far as like, you know, the game itself. Whereas now it's like it's not good because they're just not. They don't care. They don't. It's not, right. There's no risk involved.
To me, it stands on this dichotomy. At least for me, Sonic.
Right.
Like the way it started, great,
right.
Really fun platformer. But then Sonic Adventure happened.
Right.
And that, to me, that is, like, as opposed to 06, which to me is, like, bad.
Can you tell me...
Adventure is, like, good, bad.
Can you tell me which Sonic game had that character creation mode at the beginning?
I think that was Sonic Forces.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I remember that got a whole lot of hate.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I watched it, and I'm like, oh, it's just bad.
It was...
And they had some funny-looking characters that I saw out of that.
I don't think I ever played that
like
one.
Gold mine of like just making like the most messed up looking creature you can think of.
Nice.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, but anyways, like I was saying, if the script would have had another once over, another like cleanup, if like I know there's like a lot of like shortcomings of like the game. I think there's some stuff they could just get rid of altogether.
Right.
But it's like it's
just
still
a complete overhaul.
Like the story itself, though, like at its core element of what it is, I think is still good. I think it had the potential to be one of the best Sonic games because it was like on the PlayStation 3 release. Mm-hmm. It had all the becomings to be a great Sonic game. It just fell short in so many ways that was not okay. But it's like, man, I don't know.
You just unlocked like a core memory in my head.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you remember that Wii commercial for like, I think it was Wii Fitness with Mario and Sonic?
Right, I think I do.
I think it was all the way back in like 2000.
There was also, there's like
Are you thinking of maybe like the Olympics? Games?
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was the Olympic Games.
Man, yeah.
Right. I don't know. It just like I said, ever since then, it just feels like they haven't really pushed anything like that where it's like they want to strive to be the best of something. Because I remember all of the publicity that game got. Yeah. I was hyped for it because I was like, it was called Sonic the Hedgehog, period. Right. It was going to be the game. And I was like, this is going to be amazing. I still think the best thing that came out of that was the soundtrack, hands down. The game may be shit, hands down, but the soundtrack is easily listened to, like easily listenable outside the game.
That's fair.
And I was like, man, what a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I felt like I had to like at least lighten the mood because this was kind of a dark episode.
Right.
Speaking back to consoles real quick though, I remember back whenever I was like in 6th grade, I remember I asked my parents for a PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
And I think they originally told me they'd probably get me one, but I think I failed a class during the semester. And they're like, yeah, that's out the window. We're not getting you one at all.
Damn it.
So I remember there was a big
that's
box.
That's the worst
under
feeling.
Oh, it was. I remember there was a big box under the tree. And every day I'd go and mess with it trying to figure out what it was.
Right.
And I'm like, well, it can't be a PS3. So My only
What
thought,
the fuck is this thing?
for whatever reason, was I think I saw like a box of like Lincoln Logs in Walmart,
Oh,
and I think it was about the same.
fucking Lincoln Logs.
I think it was about
dude.
the same size and all that. And so I'm like, I guess it's Lincoln Logs. I'm like,
Damn.
I guess I'll have fun with that.
Yeah.
So, and then I opened it. I was just sitting there, just like, thought you weren't getting me this. I'm shocked.
Shit.
Yeah, right. I remember getting the PS3 and like being so hyped about that game being on there. Like it was like one of the launch titles. And like and again for me it's like even my I think I was very forgiving of the game. I was
Right.
stressed out about some of it and it was kind of frustrating, but at the same time I was very forgiving of a lot of the stuff that people complain about nowadays. And I
Like,
just was
well,
not
I was
thinking about it.
excited for this. I gotta keep that mood alive somehow.
It wasn't even that. It was just that I don't think I perceived the issues
Oh yeah.
because I enjoyed the game, or I enjoyed like the idea of it. So it's like it was another one of those situations where like you don't hate something until everyone around you starts telling you why you should hate it, and you're like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I hate it, and you're like, but you didn't though.
Right.
Everyone around you convinced you that you hate it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. Is that I started realizing about myself. I was like going back over it, and I was like, I remember having like long loading screens, like little weird things in the levels that kind of frustrated me. But I
Yeah.
don't ever remember like playing the game and go, I hate this game. But I was like,
Right.
but everyone nowadays is like talking about so much shit about it. And I was like, dude, like let's just stop all this hate about it. Like it was not great, but like it wasn't. I've played worse games in my life before, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just one of those things. I think also it doesn't help that I played on the PS3, which I think supposedly it ran better and it performed better on the
Oh, yeah.
Xbox 360.
Hmm.
Supposedly. It looked better, I think.
I know one of the last games I was actually super, super hyped for was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll
Right.
still go back and actually watch that trailer
Yeah.
because it's still just such a good trailer.
Trailers for that game
Right,
are fucking
right.
amazing.
I haven't really been as excited for any game since then. I think that came back out in like, what was it, 2015?
Oh, I don't even know. Yeah.
2016?
Thankfully, I've got a couple that I'm still able to get
Oh,
like
yeah.
excited for.
Oh, dude, I'm trying to
The-
think of what else I was getting excited for.
There's
dude. I don't-
only two
yeah.
that I can think of off the top of my head that I'm sort of excited for. Not as hyped about it back then
right.
because I for some reason that kind of went away from whenever I was
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
Nothing
But-
is gonna beat Halo 3 for me.
Oh, dude, what a freaking!
The hype for that game
Oh,
was
yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
All my friends played that game, dude.
Mhm.
I was in high school and we used to play LAN parties of Halo
Oh,
3,
yeah.
dude.
well the
It was
two new
nuts.
games that are coming out right now probably would be off the top of my head that I can think about would probably be Halo,
Yeah.
probably Battlefield.
Right.
But it's like that's.
I want to
iffy.
be really optimistic for Halo.
Have you seen the meme with the guy that says you're not getting Halo?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that?
There's a meme and
Whenever they brought Joe Staten back to present new gameplay for Halo Infinite,
Oh no.
somebody cut the part where he says, well, of course, you can't have a Halo game. It just stops there. And the title screen comes up with fucking bass blasted fucking, what was it, like the main theme, the Warthog
Yeah.
run, just blasting.
and then
Nice.
it says, I think it says "F you" or something.
yeah,
like
get
that.
fucked.
Nice.
But
Well,
I won't say I'm hyped for Halo. I'm just
cautiously
hoping
optimistic.
I'm hoping that it will be good.
I'm just
Right.
cautious for every game now because
Yeah.
it seems like every game has the potential just to be awful.
Awful on launch
See,
and patched
I
day
would
one.
be that way, but one that I am genuinely excited for and that I know will be good, or at least at
Yeah.
the very least like enjoyable and exciting
I
to
think I
play.
know what it is.
Wolf Brigade, the game, fight your emotions throughout
Yes.
the whole story.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
been waiting for it.
Kill your girlfriend simulator.
But,
Try
other
not
than-
to drink down the bottle of whiskey.
Right. Other than that one, it will be the latest installment of the. I want to say it's still part of like the Kill the Past franchise, but it is No More Heroes 3.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah,
I knew you were gonna say that.
It looks so good.
I think that one will be fun.
Yeah, I
Still-
hope so.
Still made by what was their name? Grasshopper Studio.
Yes, Grasshopper Manufacturer.
Yeah, they seem to be. I haven't seen anything where they've done anything bad.
right.
That's cool. Well, anyways, I wanted to go ahead and lighten up this episode because, like I said, it was very dark while we're talking about this very serious movie.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we were able to talk about stuff that we love and we have a lot of fond memories of.
Thank goodness.
But anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you're looking for us, you can find us on Linktree/Ian Wolf. You can find all of our links there to all the different platforms.
Can't find Chase, though.
Yeah, you definitely can't find him. But just know that no matter where you are or what timeline you're on, it's always
there.
just Chase. He's always there.
Damn.
He's always watching.
Now I got a joke for you since you said you can't find Chase.
Uh-oh, what?
So I was at work one day, and I see my coworker Zach coming down the aisle,
Yeah.
and I grab a phone real quick and go down the next aisle, like right next to him.
Yeah.
He goes up to like the back office where all the phones are, and he looks at one of our bosses named Sheena. He's like, "Hey, Chase was just back here, right?" She's like, "Yeah, I literally just saw him." He's like, "I can't find him."
Nice. Well, he's elusive and hard to catch, but once
Yeah.
you do, just know it's a magical experience.
Right.
The fact that we were able to get him on for basically an hour it's been great. But anyways, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those places. Just type in The Aftermath and you can find us. But until next week,
See you.
bye-bye.